everybody, AJ Ryzik here, and today we'll be taking a look at LXLE 1404 Beta. For those of you who are not familiar with this distribution, it is based on Ubuntu, in this case Ubuntu 1404. So we got a very nice lightweight distribution. So if you got an older PC, or maybe a netbook, or you're just trying to conserve on the amount of RAM and CPU being used, this is definitely a distribution to take a look at. Let me pull up their website here. And as I say right there, revive that old PC. And like I said, we got the beta available now. But I'm telling you what, for being a beta, I am not seeing a whole lot of problems or issues and whatnot. Everything seems to be working pretty well. Maybe a few glitches here and there, but nothing to complain about. Let me close up their website there. So as you can see, we got some really nice wallpapers here, and one little cool feature here, we got a wallpaper changer. So you can just quickly change your wallpapers. Pretty cool there. And there are tons of wallpapers. And something that I've noticed as I've been clicking through these, right around, you got this little conky right here, right around there, it's like it takes a second for the wallpaper to catch up around the conky. So you watch, see, it kind of takes it a while, and you just give it time, and then there it eventually scrolls through. But I don't know if that's a glitch that they'll get fixed or what. But anyway, it is what it is. Like I said, this is a beta, so that they still got time to get some of the bugs worked out. So like I said, we got some really nice wallpapers here, a great wallpaper switcher. We've got a conky up here that's giving us a readout of CPU, RAM use, hard drive use, all that kind of stuff. My only, not really gripe, but I prefer, rather on like on the RAM, rather than see 8%, 5%, 10%, whatever, I'd rather see it in megabytes. Then you're not saying, okay, 8%, I got 12 megabytes or 12 gigabytes of RAM, and 8%. So I'd rather just know the actual number, but personal preference. Not really a big deal. I'm not much of a conky fan anyway. It's just something extra. I like a clean desktop with nothing in the way, so it's just something extra thrown onto my desktop that I'm probably never going to use. We've got a bottom panel across the bottom, and we've got a quick launch over on the left hand side. Across the bottom, of course, we already looked at the wallpaper switcher. Got a little quick launch for our file manager, workplace switcher, and then all of our open applications. File manager, let me pull that up. Actually, no, that's not a file. That boots up menu right there. I am mistaken. Which kind of doesn't make a whole lot of sense, since you got a there you go. Okay, so that's how it goes. So if you go and you click on the little icon there, you can either use it as I see how this works now. Okay, so click on it. Let's say you want to look at your downloads folder. Click open and go right to the downloads folder, or say the pictures folder or whatever. Or you can just do the open, and it opens up normal file manager, and your file manager is PCFM. We're looking at version 1.2 here. Personally, I really like PCFM. Um, let me find it here. Review. And for those of you who know me, you know what I'm going to bring up. I love dual pane in a file manager. To me, it just makes things so much easier when you need to transfer files between folders and whatnot. Um, but anyway, PCFM, nice, lightweight um, file manager, very easy to use. Like I said, got the dual pane, fair number of options. Um, very nice file manager to work with. All right, well, let's roll through our other applications. Take a look at what we got here. Um, just kind of a heads up. To me, it looks like um, what our developers have done here is try to set us up with an application to take care of any situation you possibly could want. I mean, there's a screen recorder. There was there's GUVC video for web or webcam capture. Um, OpenShot for video editing. I mean, just all kinds of stuff that you don't see on a whole lot of distributions. So, big thumbs up on that end of things. Anyway, let me pull open the menu. We'll kind of cruise through what we got here. Oh, okay. Under the accessories, we got an application finder, backup, catfish file. Oh, our file manager, we already talked about that. Gedit for our text editor. Some help stuff, quick launches, our wallpaper launcher, screenshot, weather app. Let's take a look at that weather app there. Let's see. New Richmond, Ohio. Let's see if I can find my little hick town. It sure can. We need to get that changed from Celsius though. There we go. Because those of us in the U.S., we have absolutely no idea what we're talking about when somebody says Celsius. It's just the way we roll. There we go. That's more to my liking. And as you can see, we were nice balmy 75 degrees today, and nice, we got 5-day forecast. Very nice on that end. Okay, where were we? Okay, so we looked at the weather, Archive Manager, XPad for notes. All right, what kind of educational stuff? LibreOffice Math. An intelligence-based repetition memory training program. I have not seen that before. Okay, let's get English for our language. Cool. Alright, well, I'm not much of a game person on the computer, so I'm just gonna, let that be and let somebody else check that out. Wow, there is quite a selection of games on there. Steam is pre-installed. And like I said, I'm not much of a game person on the computer, so I don't, I'm not really familiar with a lot of this here. But as you can see, you got a big selection. Plus, I got Steam pre-installed. If you're a game person, you might be in luck here. Graphics, we got our regular document viewer, font manager, GIMP. Always got to have the GIMP. Okay, we got both GIMP and Draw for. Oh, I can see that because Draw is good for flowcharts and those sort of things. So I can see that. Image viewer, Shotwell for photos. Shotwell, very nice program. Image reducer, scanner, Clause Mail for our mail app. And let's see what version we got here. Version 3.9.3. Personally, if I were going to use this as my distribution, I'd go ahead and upgrade to 3.10. And actually, I'll throw a link up on here and you can go and see my review of 3.10 because they've made a lot of improvements. And if you're going to use clause mail, might as well use the latest and greatest, right? Anyway, clause mail, FileZilla, Firefox for their web browser, got Gitzo, Line Phone is a web-based phone, Pigeon for internet messaging, transmission for BitTorrent. You get our network manager and XChat IRC. The Office, we got the entire LibreOffice suite. We've got an ebook reader, that's probably FB Reader. Yep, FB Reader, which is a very nice ebook reader. Basically, the only format it doesn't do is the proprietary Kindle format. Although if you got Mobi, which is what Kindle is based on, it will read Mobi as well. So if if you don't have a Kindle and you don't want to use the Kindle app, go and convert your ebooks and you can use FB Reader then. Anyway, where were we? Osmo, okay, personal organizer. Where was I at? Osmo. Yes, let's open that up. I was just looking at this right before I started the video, and this was pretty cool. We got a calendar, task manager, contact manager, notes. So that, that's a pretty neat looking personal organizer there. Now, if you run multiple monitors and you don't want the monitors to mirror each other, how would I want to say this? You can do it, but I got kind of thrown at first, and here's why. Let me show you. Under Preferences, if you go to Monitor Settings, okay, it shows you the two different monitors that I'm running. Hooked to my HDMI, I've got this one at 1920 by 1080, and then I got a VGA running 1280 by 1024. Okay, under Display Settings, you don't have the option to put these monitors side by side, so you're forced, based on this screen here, you are forced to mirror, have the exact same thing on each screen, which I was like, yeah, that's not what I want. It kind of at least for me, it defeats the purpose of having the multi-monitor, because when I'm doing these videos, I record on one and then I'll have like the dialog box for my screen recorder and for the webcam and all that kind of stuff open on my other monitor. The trick on this is that you also need to go to, and I think it was under System Tools. Let me find it here. Okay, we got the monitor settings. You go to the ARAND-R, and then from here you can set up your screen layout, which is what I've done here. Got my HDMI and then right beside it the VGA. So you can still do the side-by-side monitors. It's how would I say it? You just got to go to a couple places to get it set up. So at first that threw me, but yeah, you can do it. Anyway, okay, so we were at preferences, and I showed you we got our additional drivers, backup, Bluetooth manager, customize the look and feel. That's where you can go and change, you know, your icon themes and all that kind of stuff there. Mouse cursor, window borders, our fonts. And it looks like, they've got a fair number of themes pre-installed. So that's pretty cool. You know, a lot of your distributions, you got, one or two themes pre-installed. They've given you quite a selection there. All right, so then we got our keyboard and mouse, input methods, all that kind of stuff, language support, light locker settings, um, open box configuration. So once again, this is, you can look at all the different themes and changing things up and that kind of thing. Alright, software, and of course our software and software updates, that sort of thing. Under sound and video, we've got a transcoder, Audacity for recording and editing. Wow, I can't speak there. Record and edit audio files. Our music player, GUVC View, which is our webcam viewer. That's right up here. That's what you're looking at right there. Minitube, which is a YouTube viewer. OpenShot Video Editor for editing videos. Pythos for a music player from Pandora Radio. Our audio control. Simple screen recorder I added. That's what I use for recording my videos. Now they do have they got videos right here for play movies. VoxScreen is a screencaster, and that came pre-installed. I just did simple screen recorder because that's what I'm used to, and why switch up just because they've got that other one pre-installed. XF Burn for CD and DVD burning, and very nice. I like seeing BleachBit installed by default. Okay, BleachBit, for those of you who are familiar with the Windows systems and you've used CC Cleaner, think of BleachBit as the open source version of CC Cleaner. Basically the same thing. It cleans up all the little bits of stuff left over from when you upgrade software or remove software and all that kind of stuff. We got our disk usage analyzer, a Debian package installer, front end to connect to remote file. Wow, I still can't talk. Front end to connect to our file systems. Gparted for formatting our drives and making partitions, that sort of thing. Ubuntu Software Center. Ubuntu Software Center, let me pull it up. It is much, much better than the Ubuntu Software Center. You can see how quickly it popped up. It's quick, it's easy to use, it doesn't freeze up and crash like the Ubuntu Software Centers. Really, the Ubuntu people, you should take this their software center and just port it over to Ubuntu because it is so much better. Where was I at? Okay, so Software Center, Network Manager, Printer Manager, Scheduled Tasks, Software Updater, Startup Disk Creator, Synaptic Package Manager. I am a big fan of Synaptic. While Ubuntu Software Center is good, Synaptic is my preferred way of installing software. System Profiler and Benchmark, Task Manager shows us, all the different processes that we've got running right now, how much CPU is being used, how much memory is being used, all that kind of stuff. Where was I at? Okay, time and date, terminals, PPA manager. And as you see, it's a graphical PPA manager, which is pretty cool. I'm used to adding PPAs via the terminal or through the update manager, but this is pretty cool here. I've seen it before, the YPPA manager. Not real familiar with it, but I've seen it before. Nice graphical front end if you want to add PPAs that way. All right, under Universal Access, we got the virtual keyboard, G-Speak, and Xzoom. Of course, our terminal, run different programs, that sort of thing, a search. And that's pretty much everything here. It shows you, we're nice, lightweight. Like I said, on this up here, I would have rather seen, we're running 150 megabytes or 200 or however much we're running. Because, you see where it says RAM 9%. Okay, well, that doesn't mean a whole lot unless you know how much RAM you've got to begin with. So I'd rather see that in megabytes, but probably not a big deal. So I guess big question is, would I use this as my distribution? Well, yeah. I mean, I'm a big fan of the Gnome desktop. So I'm not really going to, I don't want to change from that and switch over to this. But for on my laptop, especially since I want the laptop to be I need to keep an eye on my resources because it doesn't have the huge amount of RAM and CPU power that the desktop has. Yeah, this would be a nice distribution. A lot of stuff pre-installed. So if you wanted a lightweight distribution where you could just install and go, this would be a good distribution for that. Anyway, anybody else that's given it a try, I'd love to hear from you. Let me know what you think. Even though this is beta, I have not had any crashes or anything like that as I've been playing with it for the past day or so. So, no complaints with it there. Well, that about finishes it up for this video. As always, give us a big old thumbs up if you enjoyed the video. Subscribe if you want to keep getting this great content. And see you on the next video.